Breakfast on Plus TV Africa. My name is Rumea Paulson.
And I am Nyamgul Agaji. Welcome to the last day of the first half of the year 2025.
The last day. By tomorrow, we're saying Happy New Month, and we're crossing over to the second half of the year. It's been amazing. I can't believe we're already halfway through 2025. So before you know it, we'll be shouting Happy New Year again.
Pressure.
I'm sure a lot of people are just wondering, what have I done with the first half of the year? Maybe I'm not hitting my targets and whatnot. Well, you have another half of the year to make it count.
In the first part of the year, you lived, you survived, you got here, so you are a hero, at least to yourself, if not anybody else. You sing your own song, blow your trumpet, you survived.
Alright, so today is Social Media Day, especially in the US, and I was just thinking about the revolutionary way of communicating. There was a telephone at first, and then there was the fax machine. I'm sure people know that. Some Gen Z people might not know that. And then there was social media, and it makes people connect in a different fashion. For you, I'm sure you've seen this over the years. How has the revolution been for you to see that we keep going from one to another, and now it seems you cannot even keep up?
Yeah, they used to say the world is a global village, but I don't know. The village is getting smaller and smaller. It's almost like it's the next door neighbor whenever you're thinking about whoever to contact. But the social media also has given, especially in Nigeria, room for the heroics of anonymity. It gives you that audacity to say things you should not say, and this is what we should be checking. It's not a good thing for the government to always come and say, okay, we're going to ban this or we gag this and all that. Yet we need to be responsible with the way they say. When you see comments on posts on the social media, you realize that some of these people cannot face you and say the things that they say.
It's called cyberbullying.
Yeah, because they are not seen, because they can hide themselves, that they are anonymous or something, they just say a lot of things. So be responsible, like you're meeting someone physically, because that's what the world is now. You don't have to be physically there. So if you want to make friends, if you want to stay relevant, you just be positive and be responsible about your utterances and about your posts and everything.
I think for some people, they usually do that because it's a way for them to trend, so they're looking for clout. But like you said, be responsible, and you don't want the government to come and ban free speech, because everybody deserves that freedom of speech. So you should be able to, just take yourself or hold yourself in a very responsible manner and be civil to one another. We see a lot of people commit suicide because of the comments they've read on social media. So it's important that you understand there's someone's life that might be at stake here, and what I say matters a lot. And the moment you put out something, they say the internet never forgets. So the things you're putting out there, make sure that it's things that in the next 10, 20 years you will be proud of. So it's very important. But I love how we've seen things. I'm way younger, so at least I saw telephone and I saw fax machine. They were already there even before I came. And even me that's so young, sometimes I cannot keep up with social media. You see one app or the other, you have to sign up for this, you have to sign up for that.
I just made up my mind I'm going to stick to 1, 2 or 3 at most. Because
But I want to join TikTok very soon. Maybe I should start dancing on TikTok. That might be fun.
Anyway, even if you're not thinking about the next person, how people might commit suicide and all that, yourself, it might come back to haunt you as well. I just read a post yesterday where a young woman with all the relevant visas was denied entry into the US because they checked her social media handles.
Wow.
So we don't know what she posted and all that, but maybe it portrayed her as an irresponsible person or someone who should not enter the US. So she was turned back.
Yeah, just like I said, you don't want a situation whereby in the next 10, 20 years, you're regretting, oh my God, why was I like this on social media? Why did I let these people commit suicide or whatnot? It's just important that you carry yourself in the best way possible. And speaking on social media, well, Nigerian social media posts making them easy targets for cybercrime. That is a comment that we had seen earlier on, and we're going to be discussing that on the show today. So we're going to be diving into everything social media and how it links to cybercrime and how you can even protect yourself. Much later in the show, we'll be discussing the fact that opposition coalition picks ADC David Mark to lead. We'll also be taking the global stories that made it to the front pages of our national dailies. But first, let's look at our top trending stories this morning. All right, our first top trending story says federal government builds 6 cancer centers to boost early detection and treatment. The federal government has commenced construction of 6 cancer centers of excellence across Nigeria's geopolitical zones to improve early detection and treatment of cancer. Minister for State for Health, Dr. Ishaq Salako, revealed this in Abeokuta during the launch of the OncoSeq cancer screening test and a national workshop on nuclear medicine policy. Salako said 3 centers are nearing completion and funds have been allocated in the 2025 budget for further expansion, including one at FMC Abeokuta. He emphasized that late diagnosis remains a major hurdle in cancer care and noted that the importance of the OncoSeq test, a new blood-based screening tool that detects 9 high mortality cancers at early or precancerous stages. The minister also highlighted the creation of the National Institute for Cancer Research and Treatment and reaffirmed the government's push to integrate nuclear medicine into cancer management, promising full implementation of expert recommendations. Fantastic. I mean, you see this in the UK, cancer research and whatnot. There are even people who have these events and programs to raise awareness for cancer. And I mean, that is one will I say disease that I cannot wait till we find the cure, because you see so many people die from cancer year in, year out. I know people personally, you know, people's moms, people, even my friends who have had to deal with cancer. There's so many people that have been able to beat cancer, and I'm really, really happy for that. I'm really happy with, you know, the progress that we're making. But a lot of times, the people I'm speaking about, they have to fly abroad. A friend of mine, he had cancer. He had like something in his eye, like from his teardrop. It was ridiculous. When I saw his pictures, I was literally crying. But guess what? It was because he was working with a multinational company, and so they were able to fly him to Dubai. His family even had to go to Dubai to live with him, you know, during that period. But imagine someone who's just in the village, who doesn't even know what they even have. It doesn't even know if they have any cancerous disease in their body or whatnot. But I think this is where the government is coming through, that I'm really commending them for that, because now with this cancer screening centers, it's possible for you to go there, screen yourself, have that early detection. If you even detect it early, you know, it's easier for you to do whatever is necessary, whatever is possible to save that person's life. But most times when people even find out that they have cancer, it's already at the late stages, and before you know it, you don't make it. And my point is, it's great that we're having these, you know, screening centers and whatnot, but I hope that they will be fully equipped, because that's something that we see in Nigeria, whereby they will build these centers. After they commission it, you don't see any equipment anymore. So I hope that they will be fully equipped. One, I hope that they will have the right, you know, professionals, the right care team that will be there to ensure that these people can come in, screen, whatever they need to do, they do that, and it's not just a fluke. And also enough research and development. We're seeing other countries, you know, do a lot of research in this. What is Nigeria doing about it? Because it still affects us. And I think it doesn't even just stop here. It is important that we start to raise awareness on the types of food that we eat. So a lot of times, the food that we eat, because we're not, you know, having that organic meal, Nigeria is even better compared to like other countries, because in other countries, they will tell you this is organic, this is GMO. You don't know what you're eating. But it's important that we start to look at, you know, ways that we can eat healthy and not eating a lot of processed meals and whatnot. Anything that we can do to ensure that we're healthy, that's what the government needs to be preaching now. That's the song they have to be singing, aside the, you know, the centers that they're opening up.
I can understand all that. I think if 100 people were able to access a cancer treatment because they needed to go abroad, maybe now up to 200 can afford it, but it will also remain in the same kind of bracket of the kind of people that could have accessed it even if they didn't have centers here, if something is not done about some kind of subsidy in that regard. Yeah. Because if cancer center comes here and I'm spending almost as much as I'm spending if I'm to go outside the country, then it makes no sense. So now that subsidies are being removed everywhere, left, right, and center, I hope they will do something about that one, because first of all, Nigerians don't want to go to the hospital. And second of all, even if they want to go to the hospital, they are afraid of the cost. Whether they are afraid or not, the cost might be just too much for them. So for something as serious as cancer, I think the government needs to do something about subsidizing whatever is needed to get that kind of treatment. In the first place, these centers are not going to be in a village. They are going to be in city centers, very far from a lot of people who might want to access this thing. So they will look for the money to take themselves there. They get to that place.
No, but I can understand that because it has to be hospital. They cannot go to one village.
Agree,
it has to be somewhere that's central.
I agree. So while you're going through everything to make sure you access it, you shouldn't get there and find out that the cost will kill you there. So that's what I'm saying. So let it be. It's a very good thing. We applaud the government, but do something about subsidy in the health sector. Otherwise, there is going to be problems. You know, you need a road to get to that place. You need a lot of things. You need to be able to buy food when you're there. You need to be able to buy drugs, and pharmacies are going out, and all those kind of things. Everything is related. So make sure that it's a holistic thing. But we're going to a little bit of politics, or the economy, or our state of the nation amid worsening insecurity and economic hardship in Nigeria. That's what we were looking at. Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi has criticized President Bola Tinubu's decision to embark on a vacation to St. Lucia in the Caribbean. In a series of posts on X, Obi described the trip as insensitive given the recent violence and flooding that have left hundreds dead or displaced across several states. Obi expressed disbelief over the president's leisure travel at a time when Nigeria is among the most insecure places in the world, and accused the administration of prioritizing elite interests while ignoring the suffering of ordinary citizens. He pointed out that Tinubu had not visited disaster-hit Mina or directly addressed victims in crisis zones like Benue and Niger. He also compared the landmass and population of St. Lucia to affected Nigerian towns, emphasizing that the president should be spending time addressing the country's pressing issues. Obi urged leaders to focus on alleviating poverty and insecurity, warning that continued indifference may further destabilize the nation. I know that once this thing came out, the first thing is there are people who are like, generals in that regard. Once Obi's name is mentioned, they're just there to bash him and all that. But it's not in everything that we should just bash anybody and say it's opposition and all that. There are things that are sensitive. There are things that need to be done by a leader. Even though one of the worst leaders, as we say in Nigeria, who was Abacha, he never left the shores of Nigeria because he didn't see any need for it. Whatever else he's being described as is irrelevant. But that he showed that you could stay in Nigeria, be a president in Nigeria, and not need to travel. So I wonder why in Nigeria it has to be the president that goes to every country, no matter how small it is. Imagine President Trump coming to Nigeria just to talk to us about, the ties that we have had, historical ties.
Meanwhile, you can send envoys for that.
It doesn't make any sense. Nigeria has people who are very intelligent that can represent the country and all that. So why not just show the people that I care? That's why I'm not going, even if it's a lie. That's why I'm not going. I'm sending someone else. I'm canceling my trip. I'm doing this. And like he said, people have not been addressed directly. Even when he went to Benue State, he held a town hall meeting, and he couldn't get to the village itself because there was bad road and all of that things. What stopped him from using helicopter or something and getting to that village
and saying, I feel the pulse, feel the pulse of the people, feel how they're feeling. And honestly, I think I was seeing a comment on social media, several comments that they're like, it's only President Tinubu that goes to every other country. It's only Nigeria's president that works remotely. And what they mean is you're always in another country and still ruling this country. So you're working remotely from whatever country you're going to.
I think it's an APC thing because Buhari was addressing Nigerians from outside the country. He wasn't addressing us here.
I can never understand it. I think as a president, as a leader, there are certain sacrifices you have to make for your people. Now, it's great to say, I go on vacation every year. Fantastic. Maybe that's your own personal way of life, right? And no one will fault you for that. But because now you have assumed office, because you're now the president, you have to take on a leadership role that is entirely different, and you have to make certain sacrifices. If, for instance, Nigeria was flourishing, there was no insecurity, the economy was fantastic, everything was great, I don't think anybody would fault the president for wanting to go on vacation anywhere. Instead, they will say, you know what, after all, it's working. And I feel like Nigerians, we don't even need too much. We just need things to be working. We're like the bare minimum people. As long as it's working, we're fine. But here in this case, you've seen what has happened in Benue. You've seen the flood that has happened in Mango community. And then you still decide that I want to go on vacation. It is really insensitive.
Even though the presidency has debunked that and said it's not a vacation, he went there, it's a state visit, official visit.
Even if it is a state visit.
But compare that country to maybe a state like Oyo State.
It's not even about the country. I just think because of what, you see, there is a sensitivity to time. You have to read the room before you say certain things. You have to read the room before you take certain decisions. And that is just because it's emotional intelligence. So if you're saying that, oh, this has just happened in Benue, you know what, I'm going to cancel my trip. At this point, people would even applaud you and say, you know what, the president cares for the people. The president understands what's going on. I don't think whether it was even the United States of America or France that he likes to go to, it doesn't really matter. You could have sent an envoy there to represent you if truly it's not a vacation, and stay here and say, because of what's happening in Nigeria, I want to stay in my country. I want to fix everything that is going on and ensure that this place can be safe and secure for everyone. What's wrong in that?
Yeah, and you know, you have a vice president, you have commissioners, you have ambassadors, or at least...
I guess he just likes to work remotely. I guess so. All right, another top trending story this morning says Ndlea warns Nigerians against carrying unknown luggage after drug arrests. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Ndlea, has reiterated its warnings to Nigeria never to agree to carry or handle any luggage they haven't personally inspected. This comes after a man was arrested for unknowingly transporting a bag that was later found to contain hard drugs. The agency spokesperson Femi Babafemi shared the incident on X, using it to caution the public about the serious legal risk involved in such actions. The Ndlea emphasized that ignorance is not an excuse under the law and urged travelers, especially at airports, to avoid helping others transport items they did not pack themselves. Honestly, when I was in uni and every time I had to go to school, I remember this. You know how people would always say, I remember I carried this for me, I remember I carried that for me. And I think family members, friends, they always do that thing, especially if you're going abroad, going to the US, the UK, wherever. And I've always known that I cannot just carry anything. So I have to inspect whatever you bring into me and pack it in my suitcase. Because these are ways people just transport illicit drugs. They know that maybe you don't really know what's going on and they just smuggle it in. But funny enough, you might not even be able to inspect everything. Because I've seen pictures whereby in shoes, the sole of the shoe, they would cut it open, put the drugs inside, sew it back. So how do you even know? So I think, to be honest, it's just important that you don't even carry stuff. I know that your family members will come for you and hate you for that and say, oh, you're not trying to help me. But for me, I already have a lot of luggage. So most times I tell you my bag is full because I cannot trust. You're going to put me at risk.
If you must carry this, make sure there is proof that it came from someone else.
Yeah.
Yes. So if it is, don't let it be a call, only a call. If you have to have a call, record it, or maybe
even tell them to take a picture.
Yes, and then maybe send it on or discuss it on WhatsApp or something, so that when you're caught and then you find out that it's carrying something, because you may never know, as you said,
like the one that is
something.
Like
let it be
inside
a trail,
the sole of the shoe.
Let there be some kind of evidence that this is not mine, someone else gave me, so that they can trace that person. As simple as that. Or alternatively, use the courier services. There are services here that can take even your bag to England or America, or so they do this thing. So maybe some people do not even know about it, or maybe some people are just criminal about it.
They just
save money. If they give you to carry, will they not weigh it?
It's part of your luggage, and they expect you to. So even a friend of mine just left on Friday actually, and he had to have extra suitcase. Obviously, he was flying first class, so he has about 70 kg. But it was a lot. And somebody's coming and giving you wrapper and beads. And these are things that are so heavy, but you just have to help. Oh, okay, no problem, that's fine. Okay, no. But me, I'm not helping nobody.
Sometimes you must help because of the kind of person involved and all that, but let there be evidence.
Just my immediate family members. Friends, please use
you never know,
services.
even your immediate family, you never
know. They are not criminals. Because what we're speaking about is criminals, and these are people that because even your friends, some people set you up. it's that bad.
My people say, "Nlea ulua." He who eats from your plate is the only one that can kill you.
Exactly.
Your enemy cannot kill you. It's the person that you trust that
Let me go to the local way, please. I don't want trouble.
Okay, so I don't think we can take any more of these top trending issues, but let's just read the headline that we could have discussed. Delta Police enforce VAPP law in indecent dressing. They're saying that there's a new law that if you dress indecently, you're going to pay a fine of 50,000 naira, or you do community service, or both. At this point, I'd like to say they should define well which is indecent dressing, and then whoever is in Delta State, make sure you find out what that definition is and make sure you stay.
You dress accordingly.
You dress accordingly wherever you are. Don't go saying that it's my right, it's my body affirmation and all that. If the law says this, do not do it so that you don't get into trouble.
But my point is, I don't want a situation whereby people cannot be free on how they can dress. And why I'm saying this is, you know, there's some laws that would be crazy and tell you that you have to wear a long dress to your knee, or you have to wear I think it's called a niqab or something, like cover your face. I think there's an Arab country right now that has even passed a law that, you know, women don't need their two eyes to see. So after you wear your, is it the hijab or the niqab? I'm never sure of which one it is. You have to, wear an eye patch to cover one eye. So you know how you just have the eyes peeking through? Most times those people that really cover up. Now you just wear an eye patch to cover one. So imagine, but the men can go out freely. So I'm wondering because for some people, if they even open the two eyes, that's indecent dressing. If you wear a strapless dress, that's indecent dressing because you don't want your arms.
Bottom line is, until that law is repealed, act accordingly and be fighting it. That's the major thing. So if it is,
so you don't pay 50,000,
or do community service. We don't know what that community service may be. So just make sure that you don't break the law. As simple as that. But let's do the definition well. Let people know what indecent dressing is.
All right, that's it for our top trending stories. We'll go on a short break. When we return, we'll be reviewing the papers. So please stay with us.